Hi, welcome to Rate My Gadget, and we're going to be reviewing these three little mini handheld consoles, bringing you back to the retro era. Hold on a minute. Okay, I can hear myself think. So, I'll be looking at, in order, so this is the Miyoo Mini Plus, the Capcom Superpocket, and then the aptly named RG35XX Plus. They really need to think about the naming of this. Bit of a caveat, this is going to be an out-of-the-box test. You can obviously emulate these and add for some of these different games and different operating systems. I won't be looking at that. This is purely a review of get them out of the box. What are the games like? What's the functionality like? If you want to jump straight to my conclusion, then please do look below where you've got all the chapters. But let's get straight into it. And we'll compare these three great consoles. First of all, what are they? So these are little mini consoles which out of the box turn on. They all charge via a USB lead, and the principle is it brings you back to those old style of gamings, a bit like if you're old like me, preloaded, ready to go, in which you can actually start playing from them straight out of the box. And I even test them to see if my kids would play them. Would they be able to pull themselves away from the Xbox to be able to play these? Let's see. Okay, so first things first, what do you get out of the box and how user-friendly is it? So I'll show you the interfaces a bit later on. First one, the Capcom Pocket. I'll start with the worst and go to the best. This is pretty much all it comes with, and a USB-C cable in there. It also gives you a lovely poster to say that you can get more games if you want to. Thanks very much. So it only comes with 12 games, and already it's kind of letting itself down, in which it's trying to sell itself as you need to buy more games, put it into the cartridge at the top here. That's it. The next one is the RG35XX. Now the RG35XX, this one here, the thing it does provide, which is quite nice, is a screen protector. So it provides a screen protector and a clean and a USB-C cable. And that's about it. But even the screen protector's already done better than the Capcom. The one that wins by far in terms of what you get is the Mini Miyoo. So the Mini Miyoo, you get, obviously a little console itself. If I just show you, they also give you the USB-C cable, and the other two, they give you a screen protector, and, which is quite a nice little touch, they give you the SD card converter. Now the RG35X and the Mini Miyoo both come with an SD card with preloaded games. I quite like the idea that you don't have to buy one of these if you're then keen to start emulating and putting games onto it. I'm not, this is not what this video is about, but I quite like that. The other thing as well that the Mini Miyoo does is it gives you a case as well with it. Now that doesn't sound like a big thing, but let's be honest, if you're going to be carrying around something like this, you don't want to scratch a screen. It comes with a screen protector, but the first thing you're going to buy is probably one of these protectors. So I think the Mini Miyoo out of the box is the one that I like. It gives you the most kit, because you'd end up having to buy one of these, and if you are going to have to, if you are thinking about emulating or loading games, you're going to have to buy one of those USB converters as well. Basically Capcom loads straight into the games, and you can see that on here, and it has 12 inbuilt games. The Miyoo, loads of games, thousands of games loaded onto the SD card, and it goes up to PS1 level, and that's about the same as the RG35XX as well. It has Neo Geo, you can see on here, Atari 2600. Now here you can see, if I go into SNES, that alone has over 6,000 games, and that's out of the box. So Capcom at 12 games just looks woeful, and obviously they're hoping that they're going to entice you in with the Capcom name, and then you buy further cartridges down the road. Okay, RG35XX, same, loads and loads of games on there, and to be honest, it's very difficult to give you a full list of what's on the Mini Miyoo, what's on the 35XX. Looking through on kind of, you know, some games that I grew up with, it seems like they both got very comparable. Okay. The Capcom Superpocket has a 2.8-inch screen, whereas the RG35XX has a 3.5-inch screen, and it does make a difference. The size of them, I'd say in your pocket, is about comparable, but the 3.5-inch of the 35XX does make a difference. In terms of size, The Capcom is by far the biggest, then it goes to the RG35XX, then it goes to the Mini Miyoo. The layout buttons are the same for all of them. They all have a start select button and a D-pad. The Capcom has on the D-pad the corners filled in, so it's much like a modern Xbox. So it's much like a modern Xbox controller with the corners filled in. However, there are on all three 4 shoulder bumper buttons on the back. The Superpocket Capcom is the one by far that has the worst layout. It has the buttons flush to the body. So using them, it's on no shoulder, it's not on a knuckle, and therefore it's very difficult. All 3 of them, unlike maybe Xbox or PlayStation, the button isn't regulated on the knuckle at the back. It is literally an on-off 1-0 button. But the Capcom one, being flush to the back body, means that I found it very, very difficult to be able to play with. I'll go to the one with the least capable connection, which is the Capcom. So, has no wireless connectivity either in Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. It has a USB-C for charging and a headphone jack, but that is about it. You don't have a TV output, you don't have an SD card or expandable storage entrance. The only way to put games in is through this cartridge medium here. And to be honest, that's where it lets itself down in the Capcom in terms of that connection. So on the other end, the RG35XX has no Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. It does have the SD card preloaded, and it also has, you can see here, an HDMI video out. Now I never use that, and it doesn't come with a HDMI lead, but it does mean that if you did want to put it onto the TV, you could. Personally, I'm not sure what the benefit is because it's sold as a handheld. However, in between the 2 ends, in terms of connection, is the Miyoo. So it doesn't have a video out. However, there is the claim that for newer firmware, you can data transfer by buying an external Wi-Fi dongle. So you can Wi-Fi connect. Never tried it, and it's only what I've read on the internet. But if the claims are to be believed, the firmware update will allow you to Wi-Fi dongle and upload. In terms of performance, so although I didn't find it on the games that were preloaded, the Miyoo may struggle with higher end games. The reason being is the RAM difference. The Miyoo Mini has 128 megabytes DDR3, whereas RG35X has double that at 256 megabytes. Now, like I said, I didn't notice that out of the box. However, there is likelihood that if you're going to be using this to emulate games, then the Miyoo may struggle, whereas RG35X won't. Show you the Superpocket, the Capcom edition. So immediately on startup, very different to the other 2, it has the operating system that is purely based around the games, okay, and the built-in games. Now you can see here it's only got a select few, around about 12 games built in it, but the principle is that you can add more games into the cartridge. If I play on, say, Street Fighter, you can see that the loading time is pretty decent, the lag is pretty okay, the screen isn't too bad actually, and there's no bleeding around the edges of it. It's not too bad. The only thing is, and this is where it lets itself down poorly, is if I choose so the buttons and the configuration are actually quite nice, and I like, you know, these top left, top right. So it means that actually doing the special moves aren't too difficult. The problem is when you want to use these kick buttons at the back, because they're flush to the body, it's very difficult with my hands to have to control both of these. They are no way regulated so that it's a single button on the back, and also because they're both flat and one is slightly inner to the other, it becomes very difficult, and you can't really see that, for me to be able to play with them. It almost means these 2 buttons I'm unable to play with it. playing with these 4 buttons and maybe the 2 on the outer edges is feasible. Go on to the Miyoo now. Configuration of the D-pad is pretty damn good. The shoulder buttons on the back, you can see that one is they're slightly raised on a knuckle. Again, not too bad. However, the height difference between the buttons, same as the Capcom, means that it's very difficult for me to play with these buttons on the inside here. Hold on, I bet I'm going to get beaten by Chun-Li. But you can see that even without that bottom bit, I'm still able to play and do special moves with Ryu as I go to do a Hadouken. There you go. The screen is comparable because of the size. So I'd say in terms of gameplay, if I just compare Street Fighter on the Miyoo and the Capcom, there's not a lot of difference. However, the RG35X. Now the biggest difference between the RG35X and the other two is that the buttons, they just seem to be a bit more proud and a bit glossier on the RG35X. I'm actually finding it a little bit more difficult to undertake the moves. So I think the D-pad here has got quite a stiffness to it, which this one didn't. And it just feels, the screen is bigger, but I have to say for pure gameplay, as you can see, I got beat by Blanca in the first go. Right, so let me just play it properly. So I'm watching. It's the D-pad seems to be a bit more stiff than both of the other two. So this one, the Capcom one, I quite like because it's got this kind of all around one. This one, which is the Miyoo, I quite like. This here just feels a little bit stiff. However, unlike the other two, it does have a slightly raised back button on the inside, so you're going to have more chance. However, if I was to be really picky, they should put the buttons up here rather than down here, because it's just an awkward configuration to try and fight down at this edge here. Okay. So if you are a die-hard Capcom fan and you love the idea of having a dedicated console or device with these classic titles ready to go, then this is a great choice. The other thing I haven't mentioned is this is £50, so it's £30 cheaper than the other two. Now personally, I think even though it's £30 cheaper, you're still going to have to buy additional cartridges, and you're still going to have to buy a case and maybe even a screen protector. So with those costs in mind, personally I think that this sits within the same price range, maybe saving yourself about 20 quid, but that is important. That leaves the Mini Miyoo and the RG35XX. For me, the RG35XX edges it just. These are both in the same price range of around about £80. You can see deals for them, but I would say the best all-rounder is the 35XX. For those who want a bit more flexibility in a device that can handle a wide range of retro games, the RG35XX is hard to beat. With the larger improved RAM, larger screen, it just gets the edge, making it a best all-rounder, if you like. However, for portability wise, the Mini Miyoo does for me win. If portability is your top priority, the Mini Miyoo is the one to go with. The thrown-in carry case and the smaller size, the softer buttons I really like and a bit of a nicer touch, but keep in mind it is less powerful in RAM, so due to its lower RAM, it may not be as good at the higher end games as the RG35X. So in the end, it kind of comes down to what you value most in a retro handheld. If you want to see a 10-year-old's view, then please continue watching. She'll give you her interpretation of which one is best, and please continue watching. Otherwise, I do videos about these in detail as well. Let me know in the comments which one you're leaning towards. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more gadget reviews. And thanks for watching, and happy gaming. Please come in, sit down. So, hold on. This is a typical 10-year-old. And we are going to test these 3 devices to see which one is most user-friendly and most kid-friendly. So I'm going to give you 10 minutes and you decide which one you prefer. 3, 2, 1, go.
How do you turn it on? It's not turning on. This one's cool. It's like see-through. When do I crack? I'm gonna do 05S4C because it looks cool. Mortal Kombat.
Maybe not suitable. Maybe let's go to another game.
Super Street Fighter.
Better.
Dad, you're an old person. Which button does which?
Okay, so those are the punches and those are the kicks down here. But why don't you come out of this and go do another game?
No.
Oh.
I want to try this one because it looks like cool. Looks like colourful and stuff. Although this one's see-through. That one. Oh, I'm fighting someone. Okay, I'm going to go on this one. It's not turning off. The other one left me. It said goodbye before it left. That one's just like blank. Okay, let's try this one. The Captain Command. Weird monkey. Like, just like this monkey doing like a dance party. Wait. Oh no. Why does it say insert con?
Okay, that's your 10 minutes up for
Aww.
each of them. So, which one would you pick and why?
You want me to turn this one off? So, should I go through the reasons why I like them?
Yeah.
This one, because of how it looks, and it also had quite a lot of games, and it was quite like simple, if that makes sense. It didn't look too complicated when you went on, so it was quite easy to go on. This one, I feel it's a bit too kiddie, because there was only about like 20 games on here, which is still a lot, but like it was, I would say, being made for a little like younger, because of like how simple it was. Well, that one was simple, but not like way too simple. And this one, I feel like this one looks more like, oh, this one's also got back panels. They've all got back panels except for this one. Oh, I know, they've all got back panels. I just lied.
Good thing you worked that out really early on. So, which one is the best one? Which one would you get?
I would probably say this one because it's like simple, but then this one probably for younger years.
Okay.
That one's just that.
That's a conclusive test.